Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving deep into something you've probably heard about. Mel Robbins' Let Them theory.
It's been getting a lot of buzz lately.
It really has. For this deep dive, we'll be pulling from Mel's conversation with Shetty on his podcast.
It's a good one.
Really insightful. And you probably already know the basics of the theory, but we're going deeper. Why does this idea resonate so much? And how can we actually use it to, reclaim our time and energy?
It really pushes back on something so fundamental to us, that human need to control everything.
It's so true.
Mel's theory suggests that maybe, just maybe, letting go of that need is what actually brings us more freedom.
Okay, so let's break it down. Mel divides the let them theory into two parts.
Right.
We start with let them. Imagine, you're in that line at the grocery store that's going nowhere. Or your boss is having one of those days. Or a coworker, they just took credit for your idea.
Happens to the best of us, those little everyday frustrations.
Exactly. And it highlights how much energy we waste trying to control things we actually have zero power over.
The funny part is, the more we try to control those external things, the more powerless we actually feel.
Total catch-22. So Mel says just let them. Let that cashier take their sweet time. Let the boss be grumpy. Let the coworker have their moment.
It's not about pretending the situation isn't happening.
Right. It's more about choosing not to let it hijack your whole mental state.
You can't control their behavior, but you can control how you react to it.
Exactly. And when you detach from that need to control, it frees up so much mental and emotional energy.
100%.
It's funny, Mel talks about how she initially hated the idea of just letting things go.
Oh, yeah.
She felt like it was giving up or admitting defeat.
Makes sense.
But she realized let them isn't about surrender. It's about empowering yourself. You always have a choice in how you respond.
You're saying, this is happening, I see it, but it doesn't get to control me.
Yes. And there's another part to the theory, the flip side, the let me part. This is where it gets interesting. Let me. It's about shifting the focus inward.
It's taking ownership of what you can control. Your thoughts, your actions, how you process things emotionally.
Like a counterbalance, right?
Exactly.
Instead of getting tangled up in things you can't change, you're taking charge of your own experience.
And that's where the power lies.
But it begs the question, why are we so fixated on trying to control what we can't? Why is let them so hard?
Mel breaks it down beautifully.
She does.
We are wired for control. It's primal.
Like a survival instinct.
Right. When we feel in control of our surroundings, we feel safe.
So we try to extend that control to other people, to outcomes, even to the future.
And that's the paradox. This urge to control actually makes us less safe.
Because it creates resistance,
Yeah.
conflict, more stress. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy almost.
Exactly.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Perfectly put. And all that energy spent trying to control the uncontrollable, it leaves us drained, vulnerable.
And that makes us susceptible to, what else? Distractions.
Our weakness.
I know. Why are we so easily distracted, especially nowadays? Mill's analogy of that never-ending grocery store line is brilliant.
Yeah.
It's such a small thing, objectively.
Right.
But the stress from it can throw off your whole day.
Death by 1,000 cuts, she calls it.
I love that. It's so true. Those tiny distractions chip away at our energy.
Leaving us with less to focus on what truly matters, which then makes us even more vulnerable to distraction.
A vicious cycle.
Totally.
It's like our brains are still stuck in caveman mode,
Yeah.
scanning for threats.
Always on high alert.
Right. But instead of saber-toothed tigers, it's notifications and news feeds.
Constant bombardment.
If we don't learn to manage those distractions, they take over.
They really do.
So the let them theory isn't just about reacting better to situations or difficult people.
It's bigger than that.
It's about reclaiming your energy,
Yeah.
your focus, choosing what gets to occupy your mental space.
Taking back control of your inner world.
Okay, enough theory. Let's get practical. Where can we actually start using let them in our daily lives?
Well, I think a lot of us struggle with work stress. Demanding bosses, competitive colleagues, just that constant pressure to perform.
It's a breeding ground for things outside our control.
For sure. And it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking if they just tried harder, if they just cared more, you know?
Oh, especially with people we're close to. Partners, kids. We think we can change them.
Mel shares this insight from Dr. Stuart Ablon. He works with adolescents, and he says, people do well when they can.
That's a good one.
It reframes everything. Instead of judging their lack of effort, it's like, What's stopping them from succeeding?
What skills are they missing?
Exactly. What are their emotional barriers?
It's shifting from judgment to curiosity, blame to understanding.
100%. And that shift can completely transform not just how they're doing, but the whole relationship.
It takes you from control to support.
Yes.
Mel uses this analogy of putting on your armor to support loved ones.
Ooh, I like that.
It's not about shielding them from the world.
Right, right.
It's more like being there for them emotionally, giving guidance, but ultimately they got to fight their own battles.
Let them learn from their experiences.
Speaking of relationships, Jay brings up this story, it's kind of tough, about a friend who was betrayed.
Oh, yeah.
This person pretended to be their friend, but was secretly working against them.
Oof. Happens to the best of us, sadly.
It's rough. That feeling of being tricked by someone you trusted,
Really shakes your faith in people.
big time. But Jay has this interesting take on it. He's like, well, they are being honest with you in a way. They're lying that as their truth,
Wow.
right? It's not condoning the behavior,
Yeah.
but it's seeing their actions as a reflection of who they are, even if it's not pretty.
Sometimes the most honest thing someone can show you is that they're not the friend you thought they were.
True, painful, but valuable information.
It helps you decide, okay, how much do I really want to invest in this?
And this idea of letting go of expectations, it connects to how we compare ourselves to others. It's so easy to get caught up in envy,
Oh, yeah.
especially when you see someone else succeeding and you're struggling in that same area,
Social media just throws gasoline on that fire.
doesn't it?
Constant highlight reels, perfect lives. It's hard not to feel like you're falling behind.
Mellon encourages us to challenge that scarcity mindset. Someone else's success doesn't take away from your potential.
There's enough to go around.
Exactly. She even says, let them lead the way.
Love that.
Instead of seeing it as a threat, it's like a roadmap.
Learn from their journey, their ups and downs.
They're blazing a trail you can follow.
Yep. And we often sabotage ourselves by getting stuck on those things we can't control outside of us.
So true.
Mel asks, who's blocking you? When
Oh.
we start making excuses.
Oh, that's good.
Makes you take ownership.
Are we letting fear hold us back? Self-doubt? Are we just waiting for the perfect time instead of taking action?
It's about recognizing you have the power to create your own opportunities.
Overcome those challenges.
Reach your goals no matter what's happening around you.
Mel makes this point about how we manage our time and energy.
Yeah,
If we treated them like money, we'd be a lot more careful about how we spend them.
that's a good point. Think about it.
If you had to pay $1 every time you had a negative thought or worried about something you couldn't control,
Or judged yourself harshly.
we'd be broke. It highlights how much we waste our precious resources.
Mental clutter. All those negative thoughts, anxieties, comparisons weighing us down.
It's draining.
The let them theory helps us declutter our minds by letting those thoughts go.
Invest your energy in things that lift you up, inspire you.
Move you forward.
It's about recognizing that choice in every moment, right? To feed the negativity or cultivate something positive.
And one of the biggest negativity factories these days, it's got to be social media.
Oh, absolutely.
We get so caught up in comparing ourselves, judging, seeking validation through likes.
It's an addiction to external approval.
We lose touch with our own inner voice.
Mel's advice: let them think negative thoughts. It's taking back your power. Focus on your values, your passions.
Their own definition of success.
It doesn't matter what other people think.
And Jay adds this great nuance to it. He says it's not even about what they really think, it's what we think they think.
Oh, that's deep.
We project our own stuff onto others. We assume they're judging us.
Well, they might not even be thinking about us at all.
Exactly.
It's a good reminder that our thoughts, they're not always accurate.
Right.
And the more we buy into those negative thoughts, the more we limit ourselves.
So let them think negative thoughts. It's not about being indifferent to others.
It's about not giving their opinions power over your self-worth.
You get to decide what matters.
This brings us to communication. And let them isn't about becoming a doormat.
No, no.
It's about healthy boundaries,
Exactly.
communicating your needs clearly and with confidence.
Mel talks about the difference between explaining away someone's bad behavior and accepting it for what it is.
Ooh, that's good.
When we make excuses for them, we just let the pattern continue.
But when we communicate how their actions impact us,
Yeah.
it gives them a chance to actually choose to change.
Right, right. And if they don't, well, then you have the power to decide how to move forward in that relationship.
Because you always have a choice. even when it doesn't feel like it.
Sometimes that choice means setting boundaries
Limiting contact.
or even walking away altogether.
It's not easy, but sometimes letting go is the kindest, most empowering thing you can do.
For both people involved.
And that leads us to another tough one. Letting go of relationships that just aren't working anymore. It's hard, to admit a relationship has run its course, especially when you've put so much into it.
Time, energy, emotion.
All of it.
Yeah.
Mel talks about how using the let them theory can actually expose those imbalances.
Yeah.
Like maybe you notice you're always the one reaching out.
Or your efforts just aren't reciprocated.
That's a wake-up call. Are you getting what you need, or are you holding on out of habit?
Or fear of being alone.
Oof. Yeah, that's tough to face.
It is. But it's also a chance to reevaluate.
What are your priorities?
Are you making choices that actually support your well-being?
You might need to have an honest talk.
Maybe adjust your expectations.
Or even just create some distance if the relationship feels draining.
Because you deserve to have your needs met, too.
It's about respecting your time and energy. You get to choose where you invest them.
Absolutely.
Mel tells this story about her daughter going through a breakup. As a mom, of course she wanted to protect her.
Totally natural.
But Mel realized the best thing she could do was let her daughter experience it, feel the heartbreak,
Process it.
and heal at her own pace.
It's about trusting they have the strength to go through it and come out stronger.
Exactly.
And she really emphasizes breaking those old patterns.
Like what?
Getting rid of photos, no contact, resisting that urge to check up on them. It's crucial for making a clean break.
A relationship detox.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Might feel weird at first, but it clears the space.
To open up to something new.
And she reminds us healing takes time. There's no shortcut for heartbreak.
No quick fix.
She even mentioned some research saying it takes about 11 weeks for most people to start feeling better after a breakup.
Wow, 11 weeks.
It's a reminder that it's okay to grieve.
To let yourself feel the sadness, the loss.
Give yourself the time you need. And Mel shares this amazing advice her therapist gave her. What would I do if I knew the love of my life was just 2 months away?
Whoa. That's powerful.
Right. It totally shifts your focus from the past to the future.
And it reminds you, you are worthy of love, even after heartbreak. Your past relationships don't define you.
There are so many possibilities ahead. Sometimes letting go of what's not serving you is the only way to make space for something incredible.
This whole conversation has really made me think, let them theory. It sounds so simple, but it applies to so much.
Letting go of control, accepting what is, focusing on what you can create.
Meeting life's challenges with more grace.
With compassion.
With understanding, remembering that we're all a work in progress.
And worthy of love and acceptance exactly as we are.
It's about making choices that reflect your values, your goals, what makes you happy.
Designing a life that feels real and fulfilling.
If you're intrigued, check out Mel's book, The Let Them Theory.
So many great insights and tools in there.
And remember, letting go is a process.
It takes practice.
Be patient with yourself.
Celebrate those wins.
And most importantly, be kind to yourself.
Always.
You've got this.
That's it for this deep dive. Until next time, remember to let go of what you can't control. Embrace the power of let them and create a life that truly lights you up.